The paradigm shift is happening and you get to watch it in real time. Is your SMMA business struggling because you don't know who to listen to? Are you trying to do a million different things when there's only a few things you should be doing? Well, if that's you, then watch this video to the end. My name is James Bondies. I've been running multiple seven-figure agencies since 2014. I've done 30 million plus online, and it doesn't matter about me. What matters is who you are listening to when it comes to the advice. And so this video in particular is for two reasons. Number one, to kind of say, told you, not really, but kind of. And number two, to finally end the question of whether you should be running your agency via the SaaS model or the SMMA model. You can watch this video up here to understand the full meaning of that, but I'm not going to go through the whole thing. In this video, I really want to touch upon what you're listening to in your ears and how to properly choose either the gurus or the mentorship or whatever it is that you want to, somebody that you want to listen to, and how to choose that. And it's very simple. The people who know what they're talking about and are successful in what they do never waver from their teachings, from their advice. They never change. Maybe they change with the times if something's changing. Like if Google went away, then I wouldn't be able to teach about Google, right? If Google, like LSA ads that weren't existent years ago are now existent. Call only ads, different names. Google Business Profiles, Google My Business, right? Different names. So those things change. But the principles of growing your social media marketing agency never change. They never will. They never will. And they never will. When the SaaS configurator came out in Go High Level, the industry took it by storm. Guru said, how much easier is it to build this business now when you're only charging $97 a month per client? The model is not right. It never was right. I did this video about that, which I mentioned before. It's wrong. And actually, when Go High Level came out with the SaaS configurator, I remember saying to myself, wait a minute, like my 7,000 students, right, are going to want to know how to sell software as a service because of this, and they're utilizing Go High Level, right, or Agency Toolbox, my white label version of it. And how do I stop them from doing that? That was my first reaction, because when I was building, right, Go High Level to release to our student base, in the first thought in my head, again, was this is not good, but maybe they could utilize it. But then I realized this is not good. This is not going to be good. And then all of a sudden, you start to see it. And as you can see on my screen here, that paradigm shift right here, I haven't watched any of these videos, so excuse me if I'm misspeaking about a certain video, but this is in no way calling out anybody, right? There are mistakes that I make that when I find the mistakes, I will admit that I make them, okay? And so, here's Uphex talking about SMMA versus SaaS agency. Again, respect to everybody who's building a business, understand it, not the right way to do it, okay? SaaS marketing agencies, just tons and tons of videos about SaaS. Look, 127 clients in 2 months. Guys, do you know, listen, the hardest part of this business, and you'll agree with me, is landing a client. Like, that's it. If somebody walks away from this business, it's because they probably didn't even attempt to land a client, but whatever. They don't want to attempt to land a client. They're nervous about it. They don't want to do the outreach. They don't want to do what it takes to build this business. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you could do it that will minimize the fear, but the reality is that that's the hard part. Like, how do I reach out? What do I say? What do I do? I don't really know much. I'm afraid, okay? And it's normal to feel that way. I felt that way. I still get nervous on a cold call. If I make them, I'd rather not make them. But, like, this is cool, but 127 clients in 2 months, like, do you really believe that you're going to land? You haven't landed one, or you haven't even landed 5. You're going to go land 127, right? Wouldn't you rather land 5 at $1,500 a month than 127 at $147 a month? I don't know. Would you? Because if you wouldn't, then this is what this video is for. You have got to get the SaaS model out of your brain and free up the space to start thinking properly about this business and building this business properly. Because if you don't, your brain power We have buckets, right? Our brains have a bucket, and you start to put knowledge into one bucket and it starts to fill up. And then you're like, all right, well, I need to like get rid of half of this stuff and then give another bucket to fill that bucket up. And then you just have a bucket of mess, right? Your wiring is all screwed up. So here is where I tell you to follow the right people. And the way you know who that right person is they do not waver from their teachings, from their advice. The greatest businesses in the world are the boring ones, are the ones that just churn money with systems day in and day out and don't confuse the process. That's it. And if you were always thinking about SaaS and you thought it sounded shiny and amazing, I want you to think about this. The greatest businesses in the world are the boring ones that have processes in place and churn cash. They just are a cash machine. Okay? If you own a laundry business, the machines just turn. You put the money in, they turn, the clothes get clean, you throw them in the dryer, you put more money in, they get dry, you walk out. Nothing complicated. Give me an example of a very confusing business, and I'll give you an example of many of those types of businesses that failed. Give me an example of a very boring business, and I will tell you the success rate of boring businesses are way higher. And that is why the SMMA business is the best, because if you do it properly, it's boring. We help businesses get more leads and customers using the internet. That's the business. We don't have missed call text back features. We don't have these cool conversation tabs. We don't have these contacts that update automatically with automation. No. Businesses don't care. That's what you know. That's your superpower. That's for you to learn, not for your businesses to give a crap. Your business clients, they care about, listen, I pay this guy $1,000 a month. He returns me $2,000 more. I'll keep him. I pay this guy $1,000 a month and I'm losing $400 a month because he's only getting me one client at $600. I've tried him for 2 months. I'm going to get rid of him. That's the business. The business will never change. So if you want to follow somebody, a guru, I don't care if it's me. I'm not, believe me, I'm not a guru. Look at my Instagram. It's pathetic. Look at all my social media. They're really, really pathetic. But follow somebody that doesn't waver in their teachings. Follow somebody that is boring about what they teach, because ultimately those that are boring and easy to follow are easy duplicatable. And I remember I read a book a long time ago in my old MLM days that said the greatest leaders are those who can create better leaders than themselves. And the only way to create better leaders is to be duplicatable. That's it. So in this business is very duplicatable. Let's stop the SaaS talk and let's get down to real business. Like, subscribe, comment down below. The next couple of videos coming out, cold calling, right? Because there's a lot of people that want to learn how to cold call. I'm interviewing a multi-million-dollar agency, a student of ours, tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'll get that video up hopefully later in the week. I have a interview with one of our students who crushes it on Upwork. We'll talk about the best way to set up an Upwork profile, how to get business even when you're brand new. Like, subscribe, comment, turn the notifications on because I got some great stuff coming. Talk soon. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.